G'day everyone, and this is a video from the Train Gang. I hope you're doing well. My name is Sparky, and let's get into it. As you may know, other videos are mostly in Melbourne, but today we will be going across the ditch to Wellington and go and talk about the Wellington so-called cable car. It's not really a cable car, it's really a funicular, but they call it a cable car, and I will do so to avoid confusion. We'll start with the history of the line and then talk about how it runs in present day. In 1889, a group of people from an estate company in Wellington started the Karori and Kelburn Tramway Company, as it was noticed that the steep hills that Wellington was built on were tedious, time-consuming and possibly dangerous to climb regularly, so an incline railway was ideal. They spent the next 10 years researching and designing, when in 1899 work officially started, including the digging of not one, not two, but 3 tunnels, despite the short length of the line only being a couple of kilometres. And in just 3 years, the line was completed, starting revenue operations on the 22nd of February 1902. And unlike some systems, success is quickly proven when nearly 500,000 passengers in the first year alone rode the system. Not bad considering the city only was home to less than 50,000 people in 1902. The system at this time composed of 2 tracks running in a straight line parallel up the hill, with a large steam engine at the top at Kelburn Terminal moving a steel cable which the cable cars would grip onto using gripper cars. At this time, this was a manual affair, meaning that a gripper car operator would stand in the middle of the car and pull a lever to force a pair of clamps to clamp onto the wire for the entirety of the time that the cable car was in motion. This was a tedious affair, and strong operators were needed, and you'd probably get fit pretty fast. Fun fact, these were also the people who would sell the tickets to the passengers whenever the tram was not moving. So it was a high workload job going up and down every single day and selling tickets. So that it was a big job. Because of the aforementioned enormous passenger loads, the then tiny gripper cars could not facilitate that many people. So 3 horse coaches or stagecoaches were procured from some stagecoach company in Wellington and converted into trailer cars in 1904. This more than doubled the capacity of the tiny gripper cars to 62 passengers per set, and allowed for more comfortable passenger accommodations, including forward and back interior seating rather than the terrifying outward seating which could see passengers' legs dangling precariously outside of the tram over a steep drop. A few years later, in 1912, annual passenger numbers reached 1 million, and in 1933, the big steam engine at Kelburn Terminal was replaced by an electric one. But apart from that, the system remained unchanged for some time, until some heated debates with a bus company ended up in the Supreme Court of New Zealand, as the cable carway was worried that the bus company was stealing their passengers. In the end, this ended in the voluntary abolishment of the Kelburn and Karori Tramway Company in February of 1947, after which the cable car was put into the possession of the local council, thus deprivatising the system. After this, not much happened apart from minor upgrades and refurbishments, until 1973, when a motorway worker was killed by an oncoming cable car, sparking an investigation by the government, which lasted some time. In 1974 and 5, the cars were heavily modernised. Despite this, the government mandated the gripper cars would only have a 10-year lifespan after this, as they were getting old, and the trailer cars were retired at this time. Also at this time, the entire track was rebuilt to be single-tracked, more of which on a bit. Alongside all this, passenger numbers rapidly declined due to a mix of unreliability and better modes of transport, such as bus or trolleybus. And the line changed hands several times, which couldn't have helped either. In 1977, a contract is awarded to Swiss company Harburger AG to build new cable cars And in 1978, the original cars make their last run after many, many years of service. These new cars did not have the manual gripper system, but this was replaced on the old cars some time ago. After this, in 2016, the system closed temporarily for major works, and the current cable cars reached their millionth trip up the hill. And today the system is over 120 years old and welcomes 1.7 million passengers a year, the vast majority of which being tourists, as the tickets are too expensive and the journey too short to be a viable means of public transport to most today. Currently the system comprises of 5 stations, being Lambton Quay at the bottom of the hill in Wellington CBD, then going up to Clifton, Talavera, Salamanca, and then terminating at the top of the hill at Kelburn Terminal, which is in the suburb of Kelburn, where the winch is housed, as well as a museum based on the cable car.
That's pretty cool.
As said earlier, the system was rebuilt to be single-tracked and having a passing loop at Talavera. All intermediate stops in between Kelburn and Lambton Quay are request stops, meaning that they only stop there if someone needs to. And from experience, the tram doesn't usually stop there, as they are very small stations with small populations surrounding them. Now, a really interesting part about the passing loop is that car 1 and car 2 are fixed to only be able to pass on one side of the loop, meaning that car 1, when going up, is stuck to the left side of the loop, and going back down, it is still stuck to that same side of the loop that it went up on. This is due to a difference in design of wheels, meaning that the flanges are different for each car, meaning that it will only be able to go through one. Which is a really interesting way of doing it. I have never seen this before, but then again, I have not seen many cable cars. And as seen in the videos playing in the background, there are 3 tunnels that are all lit up with a lovely light show, and the mural was painted near the entrance of one of them to commemorate the history of the tram. As you can see now, the tram has just stopped at Lambton Quay, which is underground. It wasn't underground at the start of its operations. I hope you have enjoyed this very brief overview of the Kelburn tramway, or cable car. I know I have missed lots of things to do with this really interesting system, and feel free to let me know in the comments. But anyway, I hope you all have a nice day. I'll see you around. I've been Sparky from the Train Gang, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.